let's look at this. It says, find the derivative of this using the first principle. Please, if you have not watched the previous video, make sure you watch them before you look at this, okay? Let's start. So therefore, we're going to say this is y equals to this. We're going to call this one equation 1. Then what we're going to do now is to increase y by delta y. Then we increase s by delta x. That is y plus delta y equals to s plus delta x. We still retain every other thing. We call this equation 2. Now, what are we trying to do? What we are going towards is delta y over delta x. Here, nothing like that. We are not introducing them now in this second equation. We introduce this. We also introduce it here. Okay? Because we are working towards this now, we need to remove this guy from the left hand side. Therefore, we are going to say equation 2 minus equation 1. That is this plus this minus this. What are we trying to achieve? Because if we can remove this, only this one will remain. Later, that is, we now have this. Later, we now divide it again by delta x, just working towards this, okay? That is what is informing me to work like this, okay? So therefore, we're going to go back to say this plus this minus this equal to this other side minus this. Understand? So with this now, I will strike out this and this remains this as equal to s plus this minus 1 s minus 1. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to divide both sides by delta x. So I will divide this side by delta x and divide this side by delta x. Okay? As you can see, we now have delta y over delta x. But let's work on this side. Remember, I can also express this by writing it like this. What we just did, we say 1 over this. Then we still retain these guys as this one. Then this over this, we took it to one side. Now, what is the purpose of doing this? I want our side to concentrate here, okay? I should have done that here before I introduced the x. The reason why I introduced the s first, just to show you that this is where we are going to, before we now go to dy dx. Okay? That is, delta y over delta s will take us to dy dx. Now let's work on this. This is a what? A radical. You can also call it surd. That means we have to introduce what we call conjugate of a surd. If you don't know surd, you need to go through surd to understand this a little. We are going to do surd later in this channel, okay? So what we're going to do now is, if you have something like this in surd, the conjugate of this is plus, this is the conjugate of this, this is the conjugate of this, okay? We use it to simplify surd, okay? Now we have minus here. The conjugate of this is going to be what? Plus. That is plus here. So how are we going to use the conjugate? We're going to say you have to remain here. Then we come here now to say this guy minus this guy, okay, all over the conjugate of this plus. Now that you understand the purpose of bringing this in, I want to wipe this out and go back again. This is what I should have done because the space is not enough for me. Let's remove this. Let's deal with the surd first. Let's deal with the surd first, okay? This equals to, see what I'm going to do now. Okay, what I've just done is, the conjugate of this is this. I just multiply this numerator by its conjugate and the denominator by its conjugate. I have not done anything because I can easily remove this because this and this will give me 1. 1 multiplied by this will not change anything. I have not changed anything. what this guy is helping me to do is to change the form of this, okay? Because this is not going to change this value. This is just introducing 1. It's not changing anything. This is only helping us to what? To change the form of this guy, okay? This, therefore, is okay. So next is to expand this. To expand this now is, we can even bring this in. You agree with me, right? The same thing, okay? I have not changed anything. Now, what we need to do, this multiplied by this and this are the same. If you have something like this, you have A. This and this will just strike out, okay? The same thing, this and this are the same. Therefore, what is remaining is this. Okay? Then this multiplied by this. That is when we are going to write this down by saying this, whatever that is here, multiply by this, whatever that is here. Then we also come to this side. This multiply by this. The same thing. As you can see in this place, this will give us plus. I want to write it here. This will give us minus. This multiply by this will give us the same thing, but it's going to be minus. Okay? That is. As you can see, they are the same. As you can see, this and this and this and this are the same. The only thing is that this is plus, this is minus. Okay? Now, this multiplied by this, you agree with me, it's only the square root that will disappear. The minus will come in. I'm going to say minus s minus 1. That is all. So this and this will strike out now. Remember, we still have this over. Okay, this over is still here. Over whatever that was there before. Okay? So this and this will strike out. What is remaining at the numerator now is this and this. Okay? Minus this plus this all over. Now, this and this will strike out. This and this will strike out. What is remaining now is delta s over whatever that was here before. Okay, now let's bring it back. This delta y, okay, is the only thing on the left hand side, delta y. Okay, now we're going to say delta y over delta x, okay, just to go to where we are going to. And you agree with me, if I divide this side by delta s, this will disappear, remaining 1 over this. Okay, so we're going to now do the y over the x is equals to lim as delta s is 30 towards 0. You agree with me? Can I say delta y over delta x? Okay, which is equal to lim as this is going towards 0. Okay, we're going to have this, that is 1 over this plus this minus 1 plus this minus 1. Okay? Now, what is the meaning of this going towards 0? It means we are going to introduce here s. Anywhere we see this, we put 0. Okay? 0 minus 1 plus this s minus 1. Okay? That is to say now we have 1 over the square root of x minus 1 plus the square root of s minus 1. Okay? What is that now? They are the same, right? That means they are 2 in number. Therefore, 1 over this s minus 1, that is, they are 2 in number. Okay? So this is our dy over dx. The only place I believe some people will find this difficult is this place we are doing conjugate of a surd. Okay? Because this is not part of differentiation. If you have that issue, go and look up surd. In this channel, we're going to do surd later, okay? So the dy ds of this question from first principle, which is the differentiation of that from first principle, is 1 over 2 square root of s minus 1. Hope this understood. Thank you for viewing.